And our mission is to build the character and confidence of our students to help them achieve personal and academic success.
You're listening to Nonprofits Today, the podcast that showcases the incredible impact nonprofits have in our ever-changing world. The podcast that gets the pulse on today's economic, social, political, and humanitarian climate straight from frontline leaders, innovative changemakers, and courageous risk takers in our communities and around the globe. And now, without further ado, here's your host, Sarah Box.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Nonprofits Today podcast. Today, we're shining a light on the power of presence, mentorship, and real human connection. With Alexis Koukos. Did I pronounce your name correctly, Alexis?
Perfect. Well done, Sarah.
Okay. There's a sports broadcaster whose name is close to that, so I had a little bit of help.
Awesome.
Anyway, Alexis is the executive director of the Danbury Student and Business Connection organization in Connecticut. And in a time when digital tools and AI dominate how we work and communicate, Alexis and her team are doubling down on something timeless, authentic, face-to-face support for students through consistent mentoring relationships. So Alexis has this great blend of entrepreneurial leadership, educational innovation, heartfelt community service, and she brings all of that to her role. Whether she's teaching at Western Connecticut State University or advising entrepreneurs, her mission remains the same: to elevate others, foster spaces where people can feel seen, heard, and encouraged to grow. So we're going to chat about all of that and more. So with that, let's formally welcome Alexis to the Nonprofits Today podcast. Hi, Alexis.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much for having me today. And I really appreciate the different items you noted in the introduction, one being authentic connection. And like you said, that's what's needed in our world more now, more than ever before.
I agree with you, because I've noticed there's just this, and I won't even say like, quote unquote, the younger generation. I say it's pervasive, starting with COVID, right? We just got out of the habit of just talking and being connected and being, I don't want to say inauthentic, but just easy with talking to folks. So, you've been leading the Danbury education, the whole mentorship project, with your own passion and purpose. What drew you personally, though, to the work of student mentorship?
Yes, great question. Well, one thing I like to say is that from a young age, I always had it in me that I wanted to make a difference in the world and help people. I recently was going through some old school paperwork from when I was very young, probably 9, 10 years old, and I had to write what I want to do when I grew up. And the first thing I said was to help people. And now, years later, I realized that I get to do that every single day of my life by running this pretty large mentorship program in the Danbury School District. My background originally was in business. I went to school for business accounting and finance, and I always had a mind for, you know, business acumen and things of that nature. But I always knew that I wanted to still make a difference in my community and my world. And when I first learned about nonprofits from a volunteerism perspective in college and being a part of my Relay for Life team and doing food drives and toy drives, I talked to a mentor at that time, a professor, and learned about that this could be a career. And it kind of set me on this trajectory of the world of nonprofits. And my first job was an office and event manager at an art center. And I had a great mentor, my executive director at that time. And I realized that this really could be a true career path that could be something that I could work at for many years into the future. And I ended up doing that. I worked at other nonprofits, led me back to going to school and pursuing a master's. And then this opportunity came to be, and I just felt like it was a perfect culmination of what I was doing to date, between working with the business community and then also working in the schools to make a difference and bring those two parties together to help our students thrive and succeed. Really just brought it all home for me and really just spoke to what I wanted to do and make a difference every day of my life.
Wow. Well, that's quite a path and I mean, that's a lot of awareness of like where you want to be and recognizing the acumen you have for the business world and then bringing it into the helping world. But, it's an interesting connection of connecting with young people to help them. So, um, I have a bunch of questions around that. I'm trying to figure out where I want to start. Let me ask you this. Um, Given what you just shared with us, how do you think your educational professional path up to this point has shaped how you lead within your organization?
That's a great question. I recently completed my master's at University of Pennsylvania, and my master's was in education entrepreneurship. The only, I believe still to this day, the only type of program around that combines work in the business school, the education school, and the design school. And taking classes from amazing professors throughout these different disciplines that sometimes seem very disparate at different schools and different organizations. We brought it all together. And I think that really helped me become a more well rounded leader and looking at different things that come up at different times through different perspectives. So I'm able to look at through different lenses, and I think that's what makes me a better leader and makes me, looking at things that could have different solutions. Because I'm looking at it from, of course, a business standpoint. We all know nonprofits are businesses, and we need to have that lens on. But also, I can look at it from a design perspective that maybe this program isn't doing as well as it could be because it's not designed correctly, or we're not, reaching out to certain donors, or the donors aren't listening to us because our messaging is off. So I think with having a background that really spans different industries has helped me big way in this role. And then also, of course, having my original foundation in business, accounting, and finance helps me to this day. So I can make sure that we are sustaining and, make sure our books are set for us to do the good work that we want to do. And if we don't have the strong foundation, we know that unfortunately things can come crumbling down.
The wheels do fall off when you don't have a good foundation.
So true. So true.
Absolutely. So that's so interesting to me. So thinking about your work and um, your mentees, let's think about your mentees at this point. First of all, share a bit about how you operate your program, because what I'm wanting to know more about is how your mentees interact with the program.
Mhm. Great question. So we are a very unique program here in Danbury, Connecticut. We are a school-based mentorship program, and we just celebrated 35 years. Currently, we have just about 150 students enrolled in our program. And how it works is it started back in 1990 and still the same program is running strong to this day, is that we work closely with the school district to find students that really could benefit from having a mentor. And these students come to us from school social workers, guidance counselors, teachers. Also, parents can recommend their child to our program too. And it's just anyone that these students are identified that could need a little more extra help. Maybe they don't have a lot of support at home. Maybe they're struggling academically, or going through a big transition. Maybe they're brand new to the Danbury school district and they're struggling a little bit making friends. So many different ways that these students come to us. And then the other piece of it is finding the mentors. So we have this rich history with a lot of the local businesses here in Danbury, and that's how the program started, was a collaboration between the Danbury schools and the Danbury business community. And these businesses really encourage their employees to take a half hour, 45 minutes a week to go and have lunch with these students. And it's a very simple concept. It's just taking a little time out of your day to meet with the students, meet the same student week after week and year after year. And you're really building this positive relationship that you're becoming almost a part of their family now. You're becoming part of this child's village. And a lot of times our mentors and mentees stay in touch all throughout their school years, from elementary school, middle school, to high school, and to college. And the best stories I hear are when our mentors tell us that they went to their mentees' wedding or graduate ceremony, and now they're the godfather of their child. It's just these beautiful, long life connections are being forged. in the cafeterias of these schools. And it's a beautiful thing that some of the students get a little nervous and don't want to talk right away. And we always tell mentors just, keep at it. And by them just showing up, I always say it's half the battle. Showing up and showing that they care. And I hear time and time again from these students is definitely as they get old and they reflect back, like, you know what? I wasn't really sure. I was a little uncomfortable. I was a little nervous, talking to this adult, but then they kept on coming and, they cared about me and they wanted me to do well in school. Okay, I guess I'll have to do well in school. So it helps them have that accountability, helps them have that friend that, maybe cool aunt or, uncle that's, just looking out for them and there's, nothing they need in return. They just want them to be happy and thrive and this extra person in their corner. So it's really incredible the natural connections that are happening from just these simple interactions.
What is so if I'm a mentor and I have a
Mhm.
mentee, is there a specific objective? And I'm using language might be in a grant or what is the
Of
objective
course.
of
Yeah.
our relationship, right? So do you have a specific objective or is it loose?
Yeah, great question. I'll start with our mission, of course. And our mission is to build the character and confidence of our students to help them achieve personal and academic success. So that fancy way of saying that you really want to help these students thrive, and not just in an academic way. Of course, we do look at their grades and seeing how they're doing in school. We're also seeing persistence and seeing that they do graduate and that they have either a pathway after high school, that they're having meaningful employment, or they're going into a 4 year, 2 year college. So we are looking at those long-term objectives that they are doing well in school, they're well adjusted, and then they have some positive pathway after they leave school. So that's one of our big things that we look at, especially looking at from a grant or donor perspective, is that, of course, we want our students to have a fun time with their mentor and enjoy their time together and playing games and all of that, but that there is something a little bit more deep about it, that this person showing up to them and wants them to do well in school and someone just being that accountability partner to them. So that's what we're always looking at to make sure that they're persisting on doing well academically but also socially well too, that they're making friends and they're maybe joining a club. So we look at all those qualitative data points too.
So you just touched on a handful of the social determinants of health when you were talking
Hmm.
about relationship and those types of things. So have you that's a long time to be in business. So
Hmm.
have you seen trends over time from your mentor-mentee relationships?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that I took over the organization 2 years ago, and I'd love to do some more longitudinal studies to see the change over time. Right now, we do have a lot of that qualitative data and stories of how our students have come back to us and said, like, oh, that mentor really changed my life. I was on a bad path or I wasn't really sure what I was doing. I was just kind of lost. And now, I'm married, I have a great family, I have a great job, and this person still is in my life to this day. Or I had this person during that really tough time of middle school transitions and I didn't know what to do. So we do have these rich stories that we get time and time again. And the same story pretty much is the same, that they're a little lost, they're a little unsure, and they have this person there that comes in at a critical moment and just shows up in a caring way and now has changed their life for the better. And it's just incredible to see the impact that these sessions can have because we counted up before and it's about 15 hours in a year if they're lucky and they can get all their days in. It's like I said, the school-based program. They meet usually starting in September, once a week until the end of May, early June. And of course, a snow day here or there. So it ends up being only about 15 hours they're together. But in 15 hours, these mentors are truly changing lives.
When you break it down like that, 15 hours to have that long impact is pretty amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
Super amazing. And what about the kids, the youth, the mentees, um, stick to itiveness with school? Did you see or have you seen like kind of like even when things are tough, they they keep showing up for school as well?
That's a great question, and I'm sure you've seen studies. I know there's definitely a problem across the board of attendance. Attendance is probably lower than it's ever had been since the pandemic. We have a lot of task force here in our community to combat that, and we have noticed that having a mentor definitely does make a difference. We're still trying to work through that because I know from some of our counselors that students do show up on the days their mentors come, and other days they don't come.
That's a
So
pretty big piece of information right there.
it's something great. So, we used to have mentors to come every day to school to see their student. So we know that it's a positive light for them that when they see their mentor, they want to see their mentor and it makes them want to come to school. So we know there is something to be said about that. Now it's like, how do we cross that chasm so they keep on coming to school even the mentor's not there? So, but I think it does add to that village mindset that, we're here to all care about you. And I know something's definitely in our district. We have a very large district, we have the largest high school, I believe in New England, in Danbury. We have almost 4,000 students in our we only one public high school. We have about 4,000 students here. We're opening up a new campus to help with our overcrowding. And, it's easy to get lost in that sea of people and to feel like that no one cares about you, that your life doesn't make a difference, that no matter what, you're just, who you are. But knowing that someone is showing up for you really makes you reevaluate your feelings on yourself and where you're going in the world. And I think that's what helps kids then want to go to school and want to start applying themselves because they know that that person is looking out for them. It's that one to one
Yeah.
where you don't get that with, school counselors. It's impossible to have them forge a one-on-one relationship with every single student with their caseloads, but with the mentor, they can.
Yeah, that's amazing. When you said 4,000, I mean, I think in my high school we had 425. You know, that's
I
10 times.
know.
I felt like
Yes.
I'm a eighth grader, right? Not going into
Yes.
ninth grade. That felt like a lot of people because that my junior high wasn't that big, right? Is that
Right.
progressively bigger, bigger.
It's
Um,
like mini college here.
it is like a mini college. I'm thinking, oh, that'd be you got to hang in there tough for that stuff. Um, so how do you? I'm imagining showing up and these kids, they're like all of us as the adults, right? We life goes on, then we hit road bumps, and we need to talk
Mhm.
about things with our mentors, and maybe they're not there to give advice, but to listen or maybe help us work through something. So
Mhm.
how do you help your mentors so that they
Mhm.
feel competent and confident as well?
Great question, Sarah. I think that's what the key to our success here at DSABC is our mentor support. Myself, my team, we spend a lot of our time making sure our mentors are taken care of, making sure that they're trained and feel well equipped to be there for their students. And I really do believe in the concept of filling your own cup so you can fill the cup of others. Something that I've worked on a lot in my own life. I'm sure you can relate to as being a nonprofit executive. A lot of times you're trying to help everyone else and you need to take that time to help yourself. So I want to make sure that's part of our mission here is to make sure our mentors have their own community too. And that's what's really beautiful. It's with 150 students, we have just about 140 mentors that are supporting these students. So there's huge community here. So many are from Danbury or from our local Danbury towns here, or local towns, and they come from different walks of life. A lot come from the business world, but a lot are coming, they're retirees and we're teachers or, working corporations are looking for something fun to do. Some are college students that are, maybe aspiring teachers or social workers one day. And then we have local business owners, we have stay-at-home moms, we have people from all walks of life that make up our mentor community. And what we try and do is we've started doing these mentor mingles, these fun networking events, and we also work on some kind of activity that's relatable and can be transferable to their mentoring sessions. And a lot of times these sessions, the mentors just love talking to each other. Oh, my student is at this elementary school. She loves to read. Oh yeah, really? I read this book with my student. Oh, let you borrow it. Or sometimes my student just like won't talk to me and she's really shy. What do you do in that situation? So it just sparks these amazing conversations that really, we give them the opportunity, we give them the space, we give them a fun activity to do, and these beautiful connections are happening just among our own mentors. And they're able then to transfer those, skills and time together with their students. And it's a beautiful thing. We've also done other workshops and just ways to bring our mentors together and make sure they have the resources so they can, be their best selves and show up and feel confident in their abilities too.
So, I think Well, with something you said, I'm curious, how many misperceptions do you think the general community have about what it means to be a mentor?
Oh, that's a great question. I get that all the time. Whenever we do a lot of outreach events, we are always going to different community events here and having a table and talking about what we do to drive the awareness of our program and, of course, to find more mentors for our students. Like I said, we have a big district here, so we're always trying to find more mentors to support our students so we can grow our program. And the first thing I hear from a person always, it's like, you know what a great program, but I can't be a mentor. I'm not a mentor. That's not, no, 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 no. I need a mentor. And I always say to them, I said, everyone can be a mentor. All you have to do is just show up. You just have to be there. You have to have a beating heart and you have to just have some kind of compassion in you somewhere. It doesn't be huge, just somewhere saying that you want to, take a little time out of your day and step out of your life to help someone else. And you don't have to have all the answers. You really don't. I mean, the big thing of mentoring is really listening. And I know on one of your recent podcasts, you're talking about active listening, and that really hit home for me is that that's what our mentors are doing. It's just giving space to that student, letting them talk or not talk, and just being there for them. And it doesn't really take much. I mean, you can be a college student still learning, your degree and find your way in your life, but just spending that quality time, that's all you're willing to give. And is you just have a little time in your week to give, that's all that we ask for. Everything else is just will come naturally.
It is funny that we make, just being present harder, or yeah, we assume it's harder than it is. Because when you talk about it,
Mhm,
you just have to show up, and showing up means showing up, being present and
mhm.
listening. But, it's powerful to have someone listen to you, just talk, or especially if you're confused or you have some ideas and you're
Mhm.
talking, you end up coming up with your own solutions half the time. And I gotta tell
Oh,
you,
sucking up.
young people are really smart, and they really don't
Absolutely.
need to be talked to very much.
Oh, that's so true. Like I said, a lot of them feel uncomfortable too talking to a lot of people or like talking in a crowd, talking in a group. But that one-on-one allows the student to be vulnerable, to share more of themselves. And of course, it takes some time to build that comfort level. Some students are a little more extroverted and they talk right away and they tell the mentor their whole life story. Other ones takes a little while to chip away. That's what I always tell our mentors just to keep on showing up week after week and take away, any distractions. Sometimes they get distracted by other friends, of course, the mentee wants to bring, but the phone, we know, as you mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, is a huge distraction for all of us. I mean, not just for a new generation. I feel like a lot of them are realizing that there's a problem and they're turning away from it. But us adults, it's really easy to get sucked into that world and to think that we're connecting, but we know nothing will ever, replicate one-to-one in-person connection.
Oh, you're so right. And I was just thinking about it. We were dropping off some stuff to one of our granddaughters who's having a birthday, but all you do is ask a question and let them talk, right? And my husband's trying to interact, and I'm thinking, "No, don't bother. They're not listening. They just want to be heard, right?"
Yes,
And then we'll
yes.
walk away, and he goes, "Hey, is that a new eyebrow ring?" And I'm thinking, they just want to talk. I mean, you know,
That's
but
so
they're
true.
great. They're great kids, but they have their own interior things. But there's a sounding board too that you can provide by
Mhm.
just being there, and
Absolutely.
but it can be scary. So
Mhm.
that's what I love, that you have this the mentor mingle idea is totally cool, because
Yeah.
ideas come out of that, and then those folks create relationships with one
One
another.
another. Mhm. That's what's so incredible is being part of this community, and we, do a large, end of the year breakfast where we recognize our graduating seniors. It's a beautiful morning, and we also give scholarships to our graduating seniors too, so we do a small scholarship fund, so it's a great way to end the program on a high note, and once are with your mentor for at least 2 years, we do support you beyond the mentorship too, that we want to financially support these students. And we also recognize those mentors who have been mentoring for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years. We actually have a mentor that's going to be celebrating 35 years next year. It's one of our longest mentors. It's been with us since the beginning. It's really beautiful for our other mentors to see that and to see that, like, wow, like there's something to be said about this of giving up my time, really how much I get in return. And that's what I hear all the time, just in conversations with our mentors at different events, how much they get out of the experience, and how their lives have changed and been enriched from this young person coming into their life, and really teaching them what really matters. And I think, like I said, it goes back to something very basic, and I think something that we need to all relearn, that we've unlearned some way along the way, that it just comes back to just humans showing for humans and just being there for each other. That's what we do when we're kids. We just, go up in the schoolyard and talk to a friend and say, hey, like, you want to play ball? And you play ball, and it's a fun time. And I think along the way we lose that. So I always say mentors get to be kids again and get to play a game for the half hour, get to be in that world of elementary school and hear what's going on, and maybe or shoot hoops for the day. And you get to be a kid again for a little bit, and you relearn those important aspects of our life of play and helping others, that can then make you a better leader, that can make you a better worker, make you a better parent, and make you a better friend.
Yeah, and you get to have more heart about things. And I also think, well, test me if this resonates with you, but I find it's like this podcast. People will say, "Oh, these things are so bad," or "the kids or that," or blah, blah, blah. I'm going, well, clearly you're not talking to enough people, because when you
Mm,
actually talk to real people,
mhm.
you find that people are pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. I
It's
think we forget that sometimes.
I think so too, because 'cause we're trying to fix everything, and not
I
everything needs to be fixed.
Exactly, exactly. And I think that's so true that we always look at the negative side of things. And I like to say I'm a pretty positive person. I try and always look for the positive side of things, even though some days it's tougher than other days. But I always say there's more good in the world, and we always have to seek out that good.
Now, is your model of your mentorship, um, is it unique, or do you know of other school districts that have a similar or one that's just like you? Like, is it off of a
Great
specific
question.
model?
Yeah, so there is somewhat someone's around, not as many. This is definitely rather on the unique side, but as I mentioned, this started with collaboration, loose collaboration before it became an official nonprofit organization. And it started on the district side of the public schools here with the business community of a few leaders saying, hey, how can we get involved? How can we make a difference in the schools? And they put together this mentorship program. I know there's maybe two or three in Connecticut that are somewhat similar, but some of them do other things. But I know we're really unique in our relationships that we have here, and that we do rely heavily in the business community. So that collaboration piece, I think, is very unique. So I know there's some mentorship programs that work with colleges and find college students, but the fact that we have the business world here that really sees the value of it and wanting to give back to our schools is pretty unique to us, and something that we're hoping to continue to elevate to other communities. And we're affiliated with the Connecticut Governor Prevention Partnership, which is affiliated with mentor.org, which is part of the national parent organization of mentoring. So there is a lot of amazing programs and communities out there that are always trying to work together and to elevate what we do.
Now, have any of your mentors that you're aware of, mentees actually, as they've gone on, and those who have stayed in the program, have they gone in and like interned at any of these businesses or come in and worked with folks?
Oh, yes, yes. No, so many stories I hear about that. And most of our students, I don't know the exact percentage, but a lot of the students that go to the Danbury schools end up staying in the local community. So that's always been a big part of our program too, is that by our businesses investing in our students and being there for them and giving them positive experiences early on with these businesses, then one day they'll be working for them. So there's absolutely many that end up working for our local corporations here. And actually, one of our mentees from years and years and years past now works for one of the local banks here as a manager and sits on our board. So very full circle. Many stories like that. That these students that had these great experiences early on in their academic career, now they're thriving and working in Danbury and now giving back to the community themselves. And we've had some parents of mentees that now come back and want to mentor because their children have gotten great experiences. So there's so many connections here. It's just incredible that it's always someone is connected to our organization in some way, and it is a beautiful thing. So I said every day I hear conversations and stories like this.
That is outstanding to have that. That's such a great I just get a sense when you speak, Alexis, of how tight this circle is and can become even tighter with as more people join it. But over 35 years, you've done so much as an organization.
Yeah, they really have. I've come into a well-organized organization that has a great reputation of really making a difference. And and where I am right now and the experience I've brought in, I just really want to, make a bigger difference in what we're doing. That right now we're 150. We've always kind of made that joke, but there's some seriousness to it that one day we want to reach 1,000 students served in our community. That would be about 10% of our students in the Danbury district. So we're slowly but surely getting to that number. Our more recent numbers, we're hoping to get 400 mentors, mentee matches in the next 3 years. So one piece of it we're really trying to do is awareness. With us having a 35-year um, stronghold in the community, we feel like there could be a better job of awareness. That's one thing that's happening a lot in our world. There's just so much noise, so many distractions, so many things to look at. So we're just trying to kind of go back to basics and really reach out to our community and our parents where they are at, and really explain about this great resource, and also explain to people that mentoring doesn't have to be daunting. That anyone can be a mentor and be a part of something incredible, and they'll get so many benefits themselves.
You bring up a really good point about how much noise there is, and I was just kind of thinking about that and talking to someone about that yesterday because they said, "Are you going to produce all this stuff?" I says, "I don't know. It's so noisy. It's just so
Mhm.
noisy." And I want to be thoughtful instead of just putting out
Mm,
more stuff, right? So,
yes.
um, and with AI, people that use it, I see stuff come across my desk. I'm thinking, really, this is AI. It's
Mhm.
not customized. So now in my little teacher mode, I go, please be more specific on what you are asking me for, or what
Yes.
I'm like, oh, come on now. When you're talking about getting people more aware of you, um, how does AI figure into that or not figure into that with people listening or hearing you?
Yeah, great question. And also in my other hat as an adjunct professor, there's been a lot of conversations about AI, and I know there's a lot of fear around it. However, I'll kept just saying that I'm sure that there was a lot of fear 25 years ago when the internet was coming to be, and we were unsure how that would change our lives and change how we do work. I was a little young at that time, so I don't recall
I was
exactly
there.
what was going on. I was still learning how to write, but during that time, I'm sure there was so much fear. And now, we can't fathom getting through our day without email, without our laptops, without the internet. So I think AI is just a piece of that too. That of course it's in all that we're doing. You try and Google something, AI is coming up automatically now. AI is powering many of the apps on our phones. So it's already being infiltrated into part of our lives. So I think one thing is we can't run scared from AI. I think we have to, know that it's here and embrace it. But I also think it's never going to replace the human connection. I mean, most of the mentors that we do seek, of course, we have a multi-marketing channel that we use. We use social media. We started doing radio advertising, actually, which has been really great return for us, and also great to work with our local radio station here. We've, of course, we've had to use social media and a website and things of that nature. And but most of our mentors do come from a friend of a friend, someone who's already a mentor, and they bring their friend along, and they bring their colleague, and of course, working with the businesses, I do presentations to our businesses and talk to new employees about what we do and bring them part of the fold, and also doing the community events. Going out to like events that are happening already in Danbury and school-based events, and just connecting with these different individuals, and that's where almost all of our mentors come from. And of course, you do get a few from social media, but most already have heard from us or saw us at an event. So I think we need to use all these tools at our disposal to get the word out there about our nonprofit. And of course, if you're not on social media, there's definitely a big opportunity there too. But I think you can't just rely on the technology tools. I think definitely in a program like ours where we're so hyper local and we're all about connecting and face to face connection, a lot of our recruitment needs to reflect that as well.
It's a little disingenuous to just
Yeah,
go, oh, we'll send a AI thing, or we'll just do Facebook or something. So
exactly.
yeah. No, there are so many things I love about AI. and just the ease of it. But the ease of it can make people step back and not put in the effort to think about, like, well, rather than researching what are the upcoming events we should be at, like that are already posted,
Mhm.
using it to communicate. And it's like, okay, just help me do the research. I can do the rest. So that's
Exactly.
what's making me ask you the question, like how it might have
Mhm.
affected your outreach or marketing. So thank you
Great
for
question.
answering that. Yeah. So
Mhm.
now if folks want to connect with you, now that we've talked about connection, or want to become a mentor, or even find out more about how you're structured if they're considering it for their school district,
Mhm.
how can they reach you, Alexis?
Absolutely. So we just redesigned our website. Very proud of that project. So it should be easy to navigate and easy to understand. It's dsabcmentors.org. And I'll say one more time, dsabcmentors.org. You can apply to be a mentor right on our website. We, of course, love our technology tools, as we were mentioning. So everything is online to apply for a mentor. And if you are listening and you're from Danbury and you have a student in our district, you can have your student apply to be a mentor to be mentored on there as well. Or you could send me an email, Alexis at dsabcmentors.org. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, I'd love to help other school districts or other communities that are looking to do something like this. I'm more than happy to share our learnings and, help support you in your endeavors too.
So, folks, I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Alexis. You can tell she's got great energy, great passion. Um, I think the size of your school and is just crazy big. So, how great that you're getting another campus, and you'll hit your 400 really soon, I'm sure. So,
Thank you.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
there's just such the energy going in that direction. We'll have all the connection stuff in the show notes. So if you're listening,
Great.
just read the show notes. But also, if you were moved by this, or somebody who you've been talking about doing something like this and didn't even know where to start, you can tell Alexis is friendly. She'll give you a little hint on where you could start. But you bring so much education and personal experience, Alexis, that it was really a privilege to have you on the Nonprofits Today podcast.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I really appreciate our conversation and look forward to staying connected too.
Yeah, my pleasure on that one.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Nonprofits Today with best-selling author, change agent, and strategic nonprofit coach, Sarah Box. You can grab the show notes and find out how to work with Sarah and the Sandbox team at sarahbox.com. We'd love this podcast to reach as many people as possible, so be sure to rate, review, and share this podcast with someone you think would get value from this conversation. And be sure to tune in and power up with future episodes of Nonprofits Today.